Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Cody Clark. So, Cody, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yeah, my name's Cody Clark. I'm the owner of Clark Custom Homes. We're located about 50 miles east of Dallas currently. I'm actually a fireman full time, and then we have a home building business on the side, or more like full time, I guess. It's not really. I think it's gone past the side hustle, if you will. It's moved into the full time job realm. But yeah, we got started building houses. Actually built my house, and that's kind of where it started. I'd never built a house before, but I've been in construction and done various trades and whatnot. And I'd called the builder to build my house, and they got the bid back. He wanted $40,000 to build it. This is in 2018, and I was like, man, that's a lot of stinking money to build a house. I told my wife, I said, I think I can do it, and she said, "Are you?" But I think I can swing it, So yeah, it went really well. Actually, really enjoyed the process, and after that was it. That was the totality of me building houses. It was going to build my own, and that was going to be it. And a buddy of mine called me and said, "Hey man, can you build me a house?" And I said, "Yes," but I said, "I'm a fireman, not a home builder." And he goes, "I know." He said, "But you built a nice house for yourself. You think you can build?" I was like, "Okay." So I built him one, and then went to build another one for another buddy. And then, man, it's been organic growth. From there on out, it's just, I never intended to build houses, never intended to start a business. I never intended to do anything. And now it's a pretty decent size now. We're building, 5 to 10 houses a year. I mean, so people are happy with the product, and it's we do a little bit of Facebook advertising, but it's mostly just word of mouth.
That's awesome. It's funny because we just interviewed somebody right before you who was also a fireman, and we were talking about how when you're a fireman, it's very easy to start like a side hustle, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like a lot of firemen have like a business on the side, and so can you talk more about that? Like how do you manage your schedule being a fireman and running this business?
Yeah, so we work every third day. I've got work one day, got 2 days off, most of the time, and then so I just try to schedule my appointments and my home building stuff, when I'm off work. But houses generally run themselves. I mean, you don't have to be there every day. You can stop in on your days off, check it out. I mean, I've got employees now that do that stuff for me. But when it was just me, I would just, stop in on my days off, and then when I'm at the fire station, I call that my rest day, because I'd get cut off on all my paperwork. I'd be back there we have offices in our rooms. And so I'd be sitting in my room at the fire station, typing estimates and, just basically running the business, doing what every other fireman does, even though they frown upon it. They're like, you should, be a fireman when you're at the fire department. I'm like, I can listen. If the tones go off, I'll be there. No problem. You know what I mean? But if it's just downtime, why not write some estimates and make some phone calls and jump on a podcast? I don't know. There's just, so, you've got.
So when it comes to, like you mentioned, now that you've hired employees, so how do you manage quality control? How do you make sure that everything is going well and that the people that you hire are keeping up to the standard that you have for your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've gone to a couple iterations of employees now. I call them iterations, but it's more like a couple of cycles of employees. Like first you hire your buddies because they're like, man, I want to make good money, and you're like, okay, cool, come work for me, and they don't know crap about construction. So you're like, that was a bad play, you know what I mean? And then you realize. So what we've done now is we've transitioned to somebody that's actually a PM, an actual project manager, like somebody that this is what they do for a living. They're not firemen. They're not. So people that understand construction, people that know the business. Those people come at a cost, but that's okay. I don't mind paying good money for good service. So that's and at the end of the day, it still falls on me. But I have full confidence in Amanda. She's not here today, but Amanda's out checking on jobs. But she worked for Tri-Point Homes, Lennar Homes. She worked for a couple of big builders, and I was like, I posted an ad, like a job ad, and I said, hey, looking for somebody to come to help me, essentially, because the company's grown past like the side hustle, right? It's grown past like 1 or 2 houses a year. It's it's way beyond what I could do by myself. And anyway, interviewed a bunch of people, and then talked to her references, and it's been a great play. for me so far, because at first I was just trying to hire firemen, because, they'll do anything, but then you realize you're like, this requires some actual knowledge of the business, and home building.
So, how important are the technical skills on your team?
How am I applying the technical skills on my team?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can answer your question. I don't know that I understand the question well enough to give you the appropriate answer.
If I can elaborate a little bit more,
Sure.
I think obviously you have a team who are working on your behalf. In fact, I'm asking this question because I'm managing a big team over there, so I'm facing a lot of issues while managing the team. So, so that's why I focus on multiple aspects when I'm hiring a team, or I am going to work with someone whoever is gonna work with us. So there are some parameters for me to work with any team. So do you have any parameters to work with your team? Like, do you think your team skills level should be like to XYZ extent, or they should have technical skills or not?
Yeah. So, there's two types of, construction can be broken down in two parts, right? You have like the labor, right? The skilled labor, the framer, and then you have like the managerial side. And that's, so initially I was hiring people that were skilled labor. They're great at getting the job done, right? But they're terrible at management, so that was what I have found is for me, I was looking for someone with more of the managerial skills. So interpersonal skills, sales professionals, but you have to have some knowledge, of the profession. But we're essentially, looking more for the person that has the ability to manage the teams. I mean, it's great if you have some hands-on experience, but that's really not necessary.
And what's the role of technology in your business? How technology is helping your business to grow?
Yeah, I don't know, technology is but we're actually still in the development phase. So my job as the owner, the CEO, the whatever, the catch-all guy is to focus on the immediate problem. And right now our immediate problem is technology. And so we're actually in talks with a company called BuildBook, but it's a project management software, just to help us capture leads. When somebody says, "Hey, I want a house," or "I'm interested," we put them in the system, and that way they get follow up. That way we can do all our estimates through there. That way, and then when the project starts, we'll have like concrete, framing, dirt work. That way it's that's been our biggest hurdle actually is technology. And just because, like I said, I just kind of started, I didn't write a business plan. I didn't use my business plan from SMU to help me, to help me business. And I was like, holy crap, what have I done? So yeah, I would love to, develop a CRM or, something that would even streamline it even more, that way they're not, because I have an office manager that, people call in, she puts them in there. It's all manual entry, you know what I mean? And sometimes the data is, it's, doubled up or even missed, or people don't get followed up with. And yeah, so that's the technology part is still a work in progress, but that's been I've been kind of spearheading that.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, there are steps to achieve every milestone, so completely understandable. And you really need to get more into the technology so it can boost your business a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I said efficiency is key, right? So like when a customer calls in and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a house," you don't have a week to get back to them. You have a very small window because someone else will capture that customer. Getting the customer is the hardest part, right? Just getting someone to ring that phone. Once they ring that phone, you gotta get on it, and make sure you're capturing every lead. I find that a meeting a week later typically gets canceled because people forget, they're less excited, they've decided to buy a new boat instead of a new house. You know what I mean? So you've got to get on them and stay on them.
Yeah, obviously. So what was your biggest aha moment so far?
What was the biggest what? I'm sorry.
Biggest aha moment, like the biggest.
Man, I don't know that I've hit my big aha moment yet. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you that I've got it figured out. I haven't. I don't have. I don't know. I don't know that I have a big aha moment. I mean, there's been a couple of keystone points. Charge appropriately, right? Don't do a job for free just because you're excited you want to get the job done. I mean, charge what the industry standard is. Don't be scared to charge. I mean, for quality, right? And then sell your quality, right? Make sure people understand that they're getting a quality product. They're not getting a production home product, right? So I've had some mentors, along the way. I say everybody should have a good mentor. Somebody that's been there and failed a couple of times, that can help steer you in the right direction.
Makes sense. So speaking of technology, are you using AI when it comes to your business?
Well, yeah, in a weird way. Yeah, I actually use it to write a lot of my ads. I use ChatGPT to write my ads because it just does such a great job. It's just so impressive because it would take me an hour to think of all the the things that ChatGPT comes up with in literally 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's I've actually explored using AI for customer interactions. I don't know. It's such a personal thing. I don't think it'd be hard to use AI to talk to people, talk to customers. I prefer to keep that in house, I think.
Well, I think it's like AI. It's interesting because I mean, to your point, right? It's the technology is evolving, and now you can set it up on machine learning where you can really have authentic conversations. And I think it just depends. I think when somebody lands on your website, for example, you can have a conversation and say, "Hey, listen, like." They're just getting information, right? So it's something that early on is definitely possible, and eventually, like once they're ready to buy, you can say, "Hey, listen, like let's hop on a call." So I think that the technology is definitely there. It just needs to be trained. Like the machine learning has to be trained on your data so it understands your business.
Right. Yeah, that would be. I was telling somebody today I spend a lot of time on the phone just like answering the same questions over and over and over. And it's not anybody's fault. They don't know. But I was like, it would be awesome to not have this conversation 15 times a day. I don't. A lot of people are just I call them tire kickers. They're just like, I don't know if I want to buy or not. What's it cost to build? I'm like, well, so then I try to do some public information post on Facebook and try to get I need these 3 things to build a house, and like this, try to prepare people. Like if you go to get a loan from the bank, they're going to give you a list of things. And I was like, maybe if I do that, maybe if I give people a checklist, do this before you call me, we'll save a lot of conversation.
100%.
It doesn't work.
No, but I think the AI it should be able to filter people out, right? So listen, like this person's serious or they're not serious, or this person and kind of to your point, like using the technology to capture them as a lead, saying, "Hey, listen, I'm talking to Bob, and he's asking these questions, and he's interested in 3 months from now. Let's capture that information. Let's reach out to him then when he's ready, right?" So I think it's like utilizing it in the best way to kind of streamline that process.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be, if I could figure out how to make it work and make it work efficiently, that would be fantastic. That would be like another me.
Yeah, exactly.
I need another.
No, I mean that's the goal. I think it's like the next year or two, it's really going to help a lot of small businesses in the sense of they can folks can save money instead of hiring somebody else and save the time of answering all these calls and using the technology to handle these types of questions.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So in terms of, you mentioned that you're east of Dallas, right? So in terms of the people that you're serving, where are they located? They're mostly geographically near you or all over DFW. Where are most of your customers?
Yeah, we build, most of our houses are in I don't know if this is just where I don't know why, but we seem to build like Rockwall, Roy City, that area, like just like on the other side of Lake Ray Hubbard. I don't really know why, because we're kind of in between, like we're by McKinney, Allen, Frisco, Plano. We're like in the center of all those, in those areas, but we don't hardly do anything in McKinney or Allen or Frisco, or so that's what we've been actually talking to Amanda last night about, trying to capture some more business, and then we have most random thing, but I'll get random customers in Highland Park and the historic district of Dallas, like Lower Greenville area. Very odd because I don't know anybody there, but I'll get random phone calls, and I love those people because they're always ready to buy. They always have money, and you give them a price, they're like, "That's a really good price." You're like, "Man, maybe I'm too cheap." Yeah, they always say they say, yeah, people see the area, so they mark it up, 50%. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's right. I just want to give you a quality product at a decent price. I don't try to get rich off one person, but I think that's why we get so much business down there, is because, people know that we're reputable and that we're fairly priced. We're not overcharging for the area. I think that's why. But yeah, we like I said, we get a lot of business, just east of Dallas, and I don't necessarily live close to. I live about 20 minutes from Rockwall, and I don't necessarily live close to there, but that just seems to be people. I don't know. It's very odd.
So in terms of, like, I was just going to ask, like, in terms of expansion, do you look at other areas, like, how far west are you looking to go? Like even Fort Worth or places like that? Like where exactly, like, in terms of like DFW is, do you have like a certain radius? Like I'm not going to, go and work that far.
Yeah, I don't. Me personally, it wouldn't be a good thing for. I don't want to build in Fort Worth or Irving or Arlington. It's too. So it's not a distance problem. It's a traffic problem, right? I can drive east and a whole lot easier. I can drive 30 miles east a whole lot easier than I can drive 30 miles west.
Right.
You're driving in the middle of. I mean, there's some pros and cons. I mean, typically, if you go, west, I mean, there's the population density is denser. Obviously, people have money. People are typically willing to buy. But it's just, Fort Worth is just a little too far for me. It wouldn't make sense. I don't think, unless it was maybe a big commercial project or multiple houses. But the competition's pretty stiff too. So it would be odd for me to go that far with as many. I'm sure there's a million custom home builders in the Fort Worth area.
Yeah, definitely. What about going further east? Like, going east to like Tyler, places like that. Like, do you look into that or no?
Yeah, we actually built a lake house at Lake Bob's Hamlin. It's 80 one way for me, but it was a million lake house. I always say, hey, if the project's big enough, I mean, I'll do it. And it was funny as I was talking. He actually on the golf course. He's the owner of Southwest Flooring Distributors, a big company in Grand Prairie. And I said, hey man, there's builders in East Texas, right? He goes, yeah, I know, but so I built his buddy's house. He's like, well, you built my buddy's house, and I was like, okay. I was like, but there's builders that like they live there, and like I don't. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I really just want you to build my house. And I was like, okay. It's going to cost more. He goes, I don't care. I was like, because I tell people, it's going to cost more if you're going to drive 80 miles one way. I was like, it's going to be more expensive, So anyway, yeah, we'll go wherever. I mean, it's just except for west. I say wherever. I mean. I would go to Fort Worth, but it would have to be a pretty large project, I think, to make it worth our while.
No, 100%. And I think, Cody, as you guys are growing and, word of mouth is the biggest thing. And if you have somebody that said, listen, to your point that you built their friend's house and they love your work and they're more than happy to pay more because they see the value in what you do. And, at
Right.
that point, it might make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think it's just, it's a trust factor, right? You can ask, hey, this guy? Yeah, I know him, versus like if you get a random home builder off of Google, you don't, everybody's website looks good because I paid a professional to do it. Of course, the website looks good. You know what I mean? But it's like, does this guy pay his bills? You know what I mean? Is he going to pay the contractors? Are we going to get sued? There's a whole number of things that are, and warranty work is another thing. Like, do they take care of their warranties? Somebody told me one time, they said, don't look at warranty work as a problem. Look at it as an opportunity to impress your customer. And I said, man, I needed that because I hate warranty work. I despised that phone call. I'm like, great, are you serious? The door's not shutting, or whatever it is, or I'm like, son of a gun. But the best thing you can do is say, hey, not a problem. We'll be there on Tuesday or whatever. You know what I mean? And just say we will take care of it. Not a problem. And people remember that. They're like, I had a problem and he took care of it and they did a good job. But if you hem-haw around, oh, well, I don't know if that's really our problem, or you really need to call the manufacturer, they're going to remember that. They're going to be upset. So anyway, sorry I got off on a tangent about warranty work, but that's part of the quality. That's part of the quality we were talking about. Is I look at it as an opportunity. After somebody reframed it for me, I look at it as an opportunity to impress the customer because they'll tell their friends. They're like, that guy did a good job. He did a good job, or he did a really crappy job. They'll also tell them that too.
100%. I mean, and that's a good point, right? I think Qasim and I always talk about those small details matter for sure. It's like, and if you go above and beyond, if you do the warranty work, if you do those things, people remember it and they'll go ahead and refer you. I think that's really important. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or just best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah. Our website is clarkcustomhomes.com. No E on the Clark. And then you can email me at cody@clarkcustomhomes.com. And my phone number is 214-766-7367. Yeah, I'd love for people to reach out. That'd be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely build in South Lake. I will say that we'll definitely build over there.
Well, our company's called South Lake, but I'm in Uptown Dallas, so I think I'm closer to your radius. But yeah, South Lake's a great area.
Yeah, we've had a couple of customers, contact us, from the South Lake area. I was like, and the problem, they don't know me personally, and there's a lot of big established builders in that area. So I was like, man, obviously I'll bid it, because I've got a buddy of mine that's a doctor. He's an ER doctor. So I'm a fireman, so we're also paramedics. So I know freaking every doctor in DFW, every ER doctor in DFW, it seems like, So my buddy Mohammed called me and he's like, "Hey man, my buddy's building a house and wants to build a house in South Lake, And anyway, so I get a lot of referrals like that. I get a lot of referrals from him. I was like, I like you, Mohammed. I was like, you always give me the good business, So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Cody, thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully, people watching this will reach out to you. It seems like, and it's a really good thing that you really go above and beyond, that you really care about your customers. You really do a good job. And those things are really important.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.